I'm gonna try out some new things today with potting up my plants. I've got all these plants over here. Something's this chair. My workspace is much smaller. Alright, I know it's smaller because I've got all this stuff over here, but here we go. Okay. Oh, let's get down here. I have a romper on, so don't worry, I won't flash any of you. I am going to try some plants in semi-hydro today. No! This is my semi-hydro box. I've got net pots, saucers, plastic cups, all kinds of stuff in here. Oh, and now I've thrown them halfway across my office, so I'll go gather them up down here. I also have some new pots here. I'm going to try something, but I don't know if it's going to work out, so I don't want to speak about it right away. Let's see. I need to decide which of these plants I'm going to do semi-hydro and which ones are going to be just regular. I'm nervous to do the alocasia semi-hydro. I've figured them out in soil, so I'm just going to stick with that. I don't want to do my climbing plants because moss poles and leca is just not great. So I think all of these plants from Wishlist Plant are going to be traditionally potted. So that leaves the things I got from Salem yesterday. Calathea, absolutely. I'm gonna try that. And then this guy, I need to take a minute and research this and see exactly how it grows, like its growth form. That's like a bush plant or a crawler or a climbing plant. What I can find is just basic plant. So whatever. I do know that Dracaenas are toxic to cats, but my cats only eat grass-like leaves. So like the spider plant has to be far, far away. The ponytail palm got moved outside and I'm pretty sure it's dead at this point because grassy things they eat. So I'm not too worried about them eating this. Okay, so this one I'm going to do semi-hydro, semi-hydro, semi-hydro. Peperomia, I know this one will be okay, but I had one similar to this that I tried to do semi-hydro before and it didn't quite work out, but yeah, let's do it. Not doing the Ripsalis though, and they're just going to stay in these little pots. I trust the soil they're in. I know they use the good cactus mix and all that, so they will just get a saucer and they'll go on my Ripsalis shelf. For now, I'm just going to move them over here with the moss. Oh, here is my leca and vermiculite mix. The vermiculite that I picked up yesterday is not the chunky vermiculite that I was thinking of. So this leca just looks really dirty. And I'm not really sure how it's going to play out when I pour like water on there. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go. Let's see. I have different size pots here. These are all 5-inch. But these guys don't need to be in such big pots. So they're just going to go in my regular net pots. And so we've got 3 little net pots. And these just go in little cups, which you can buy a massive pack of from Amazon. And this one I'm going to put in the 5-inch. But do I want to do it in this one or this one? I guess that depends on what kind of saucers I have. Let's move some of these pots out of the way. So I have these saucers, this saucer. Some of these are more sturdy than the others. And then I have these cups. Not going to fit in the cup. These are not going to hold enough water. Okay, so that leaves it down to these 2. So that actually fits pretty well to have like a reservoir. That's just straight to the bottom. I like this. I'm going to do this. So it has a bit of a reservoir at the bottom, but not as much as with this pot. Oh, come on. Get back in your stack. There we go. Put these in here. I'm just going to slide this out of the way. There we go. This one has massive amounts of roots coming out. So my game plan first off is to get as much soil off of these roots as I possibly can. So I'm just going to make a big mess here and then scoot it out of the way and go wash the roots off in the sink. I might have to get some scissors and cut this pot. No, I can get these roots apart. We'll be just fine. Okay. There's little chunks of dirt stuck on the bottom of the roots here that are holding them together so they can't go back through the holes. There we go. And I save all of my nursery pots so when I sell plants I can reuse them. Look at that root. It's a good root. If y'all didn't know, Dracaenas have orange roots. So if you see the bamboo, lucky bamboo, look at the roots. It's orange. It's a Dracaena. It's not bamboo. It's also not an aquatic plant. So when you see them in the aquarium section, do not buy them. And can't remember the name. They're like green and white variegated. Same kind of leaves like the bamboo. They look like a variegated bamboo. Those are also not aquatic plants. They will die if you put them underwater. They're fine for like their stems to be in the water, but the whole plant is a no-go. Anyways, I've gotten distracted. This is actually, the dirt's coming out pretty quickly. Good chunky mix in there. It's fairly dry too, so it makes it easier to get it out. Let's see. Separate these two. I think that'll get the rest of the dirt out. I don't think I'm even going to need to rinse this one. It's all come off. A few little pieces of dirt still in here. But let's see. Just gently tease the roots. Dracaenas are pretty resilient, so they're not going to be too offended if they lose some roots. Alright, I'm going to say that's good. And I'm not going to bother rinsing this because there's like barely anything at all left on there. There's definitely no big chunks of soil or anything. Leca's wrinkling my mat. There we go. I should get like a little broom so I can do this without getting so messy. Alright, so I'm going to take this leca and vermiculite mix and I'm just going to fill up the bottom of the pot so that I can raise the plant up to where I want it to be. That's how much we've got right now. Let's see. Come on now. You two play nice together. Go back in. that'll be good. We'll finish filling it up here. Very curious to see how it works out with adding in the vermiculite. Because when I have leca around the house, it dries out way quicker than in my cabinets. Just pack it in there. It's messy. All right, and we're just gonna set this in here. And since these are new, I'm just gonna put water in them. I'm not gonna give them any nutrients. Once they absorb most of their water and kind of adjust to life in leca, I'll give them nutrients. Let's not lose our leca balls. This is a pretty sturdy peperomia. You could also just cut all these roots off and repropagate it out, and the leca would be just fine. Oh, the soil is so wet. I think I'm probably just going to have to go soak these for a bit. All of these plants. Just give them a good soak in a bowl of water and rinse this off because this is basically just mud. It's so wet. Alright, let me go deal with that. Oh, I'm muddy now. Buddy's washed. Didn't get all of the soil off the roots, but it's good enough. The calathea barely had, I'm trying to get some of the water off, barely had any roots at all, so I think it'll do great in the semi-hydro setup. I'm not the person that's going to sit here and wash roots with a toothbrush, and it's just not going to happen. I don't care that much. Let's see how the vermiculite's coming off. That's a little concerning. I'm not 100% on that. This isn't just going to wash right out of the net pot into the cash pot. But we will see. I do prefer the leca over the DIY pond that I made, simply because when the leca spills, it makes way less of a mess to clean up. And it's not quite as painful as stepping on a big piece of pumice or lava rock. Just want to make sure I get enough in here and that it's stable. And then we just stick it in our little cup. There we go, 2 done. I wish I could have this exact setup, but like larger and larger, like up to 6 inches, just like the same exact cups and net pots, just bigger and bigger and bigger. All right, who's up next? The peperomia obtusifolia. Thinking I need to go up to a 3-inch pot. Let's see here. Go. Here's one, and don't know if I have any of the little cups that are clean. Oh, I do. I hate the stickers that are in these. They're so hard to get out. I believe these came from Lowe's. So out in the garden center, Lowe's has like a tree display, like a metal tree thing with like all the different plant saucers on it. And they have these tall ones that are in there as well. All right, so that's going to stay. I can't get it out. I can never get those stickers out. That is one thing that drives me nuts. And even after I get it wet, I still can't get them out. Like, they just keep tearing, and there's always some paper left. Let's see. I want it to kind of be like a 360 growth, because if you let them, they will only grow in one direction. So I'm just going to put them together. Trying to make sure the top roots are even. Now let's see if I can get leca in here without making a giant mess. Pack it all in there. Got some roots sticking out, that's okay. I don't really mind when the roots grow into the reservoir, I just leave them. Right, there we go. There's another one done. These go all the way to the bottom of the reservoir. I haven't noticed that it's a really big issue by any means if like the roots are touching all the nutrients, but it's probably because it dries out so quickly here. Like it starts to dry out almost instantly. Some of my smaller Hoya pots in my cabinet, I've had to refill the next day if they're like actually have a lot of roots in there. Let's see, I've got a lot of pieces of this one. So I'm thinking I'm gonna do this in the 3-inch pot as well. Oh. I need to take another trip around Lowe's and actually pay attention to these little pots they have, because I know they have the pond, outdoor pond section very close to those, so maybe I could like size up net pots and the plant saucers and see what I could come up with. I bet I could find some that work together. I'm going to kind of pack this in as I go, because the pieces of this peperomia have varying amounts of roots and heights of roots, so they're just going to have to get packed in as it goes. They're not going to line up evenly. They're also kind of growing in different directions. Like some of the roots are growing up to the side and some are growing down. Once I get enough in there, I can pull them towards the center and pack it in that way. Oh, that was perfect. That one just slid in there. It didn't have many roots. Let's pack it in the back. I want this one kind of spread out a bit more in the pot because it'll branch out and go all ways, whereas the obtusifolia just tends to get tall. Okay. Let's see if I can... Oh, that vermiculite is falling out. I just don't know if this is going to be a good idea. Probably should have read the bag a little better, because I'm sure it has the size mentioned somewhere on there, but they only have the one bag of vermiculite, and I didn't want like a jumbo bag from the grow generation. I will forever get the name wrong. It's okay. Okay, there we go. Those are potted. I'm trying to decide if I want to be brave and put the silver stripe on a moss pole in leca. Those moss poles are heavy, and I'm scared it's just gonna plop over. But it already has really nice water roots, and I'm scared I'm gonna lose them if I just switch it to soil. They've got new growth coming off here. Got all these good roots. But I don't know if the moss pole will stand up. I guess there's only one way to try, right? Oh, I'm so nervous. All right, let's just do it. Man up and do it. Let's wrap this back up in paper towel for now. And let's figure out a pot situation. All right. Sorry, kitties. I didn't mean to scare you. And normally I would fill this with soil, but I'm going to put a little bit more moss in and then some leca in hopes that it holds it in an upright position instead of it just flinging all the leca out. Oh, I do not have enough hands. Put a little bit of leca in the bottom of the pot. And then you just got to be quick so that once it starts falling out, it's already in the pot. And that takes up a lot of the pot. Hopefully y'all can see that. But it's plenty of room for the plant to have its roots in there. It can grow into the pot, and hopefully most of it will grow into the moss pole. So leave that one so I can get the plant in there. I'm just gonna kind of line it up here because it's kind of growing like upside down. So I've got it where the roots are where they need to be, but I have lost my scissors, and I am definitely going to need scissors. Those come with the Velcro tape. I want to leave this new stem out because it's not quite hardened off yet, and I don't want to break it. And that's not super tight. It's tight enough to hold it on, but it's not constricting any growth if the vine wants to chunk out on me. All right, so you can see the plant is still hanging off to the side. I'm going to fill this with leca, and then I will stabilize the moss pole and then get the plant onto it where it needs to be. My moss mess. I'm thinking the leca with the vermiculite may work better in the big pots like this rather than the net pots. I just feel like it's gonna come out of the net pots. And I'm gonna try to pack some around the sides. I'm just gonna use my hands because there's not much space to work with here. Just get them wedged in there. There we go. And we should be able to get rid of the box. And it will hold itself up. So now let's find the Velcro tape. And let's see if we can get this one growing where the growth points can actually go into the moss. It's staying in that position, so in my mind that means it's a little more willing to grow that way. I find that when you fight them and you gotta like clip it every half inch, then it's probably not gonna grow that way. I've had many Hoyas just completely kill off their stems when I do that. Even if I don't break them, if I've made them go into a direction that they did not seemingly want to go, they're just like, no, I'll die. So you can see now I was trying to bring it over this way, but it's just like, no, I don't want to. It's more willing to go in the middle, so we'll let it stay there. I just want to keep it off of the side, the other side. That way when that new stem grows, it can have that side, and then this one can kind of spread out this way. All right, there she is. My first moss pole in leca semi-hydro situation. I'm nervous to see how it works, but it's definitely holding steady. I do put that whole moss pole bottom in the pot though, because there's no way that it would be stable if it was not. I do that in the dirted pots too. Just stick it all the way at the bottom or very close to the bottom. Fill it with soil and then pop it in. But I'm just going to fill in a few more in the back here just for appearances. They're too small to actually make a difference. But the bigger pieces are for sure wedged in there. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go get some water in my watering can and then fill up the reservoirs and find a home for them, but I have no idea where I'm gonna put them. Oh, I do know where I'm gonna put this one. That's my front door. I have my micans over here. And then this gal is gonna go over here as well. And the Brazil will go over here too. So then I got my whole little philodendron area. Let's rotate this one. All right, let me go get some water. I have my watering can and I have my little experimental self-watering water bottle that I've been testing out. So I want to use this to water the moss pole and see if we can see how much water is actually coming through to the reservoir. I think it'd be a pretty good tester. I just put 5 holes in this lid using my soldering iron, which is strictly for plant things, of course. So I'm just going to move the moss around a little bit so that there's like a little hole in the middle and stick this in here. And with the 10-ounce bottle, it's small enough that it doesn't knock the moss pole over. Being a little slower this time, so hopefully that means we've got the right amount of moss in the moss pole. This is Fertilome Ultimate Potting Soil, the Reptibark that I picked up yesterday, and then Perlite. This is actually just what I had left of some Merifluoro perlite. I don't like it. It's a bit more fine than I would prefer, but I just wanted to finish it off. I'm going to put a little bit of soil in the bottom of this pot, and we're going to make the mesh pole for this one. The mesh pole, the moss pole for this one. There you go. Just slide that out of the way. My potting mat is all of a sudden feeling very small. Push the moss down, and then we're going to put the soil in the bottom. Okay. Take the plant out of the pot. Let me look at the pot and make sure there's not like any weird spots that need to be hidden. Okay, I'm going to say that's going to be the front. There we go. Just kind of adjust it down into the pot. I think this one I'm going to have like some of it climbing the pole and then some of it hanging outside of the pot. I think that'd be cool. Because there's so many in here. I just got to figure out like which ones are where. Yes, I am manipulating these roots, being a little bit brutal, but I am concerned that if I don't do that, then it's going to become hydrophobic pretty soon. This will be the back of the plant against the moss pole. And then the rest can grow up the moss pole if they want, otherwise they can just trail out the front. These little bonsai potting scoops are like the best things ever. I got into bonsai for a very short period of time, and I lost interest quickly because it's just too slow. So I had a lot of bonsai tools, but I still use them pretty frequently for other plant chores. So it wasn't a total loss. I still have a bonsai jade that I was working on at the time, and then I just got a new ripple jade to bonsai as well. But when it comes to bonsaiing trees, no. I did not have the patience for that. Like actual trees, not succulent trees. Sometimes I wonder if I need more hands or if I just need to be more coordinated. I am definitely clumsy. Gonna need my Velcro tape and my scissors. I am going to go get some orchid clips. I had to do the same thing with my micans because it was just so used to being a hanging plant. The vines are just floppy. So I'm going to clip them up as far as I can. I'm not going to leave these clips on. I'm just going to use them as a placeholder to kind of mark where I need to take my Velcro plant tape across. Trying to make sure the leaves are where they're supposed to be too, because I don't want to trap a leaf behind. That's actually part of another vine. See if I can move this one over a little bit. And this one can come up here. It's wanting to trail off the side here, so I'm just going to let it do its thing. So it's kind of pointed down. I think once it figures out it's on a pole, it'll sort itself out. I don't think it's just going to grow back down. So now I need to see if there are any more. Here's a long one. Oh, this one I think can come up as well. So let's put this one It's hard to do this where y'all can see and I can actually see what I'm doing too and not hurt the plant. Oh, that one didn't clip into the pole. Okay, there we go. Oh, something is biting me. Ooh. I don't know what kind of bug that was, but that was unpleasant. I've already seen posts about the scorpion migration coming through. I still haven't seen one. I know they go through here, but I don't know. They must just not come this far up in elevation or this far north. I'm not really sure. Okay, gonna stretch out because that spot hurts now. But I know that wasn't a scorpion. I'm not saying that was a scorpion. As much as I want to see one, I would probably freak out. At least when I first saw it. Okay, it looks like these are all single leaves that are hanging down now. So I like the way that looks, at least from this angle. I might change my mind from the front. Oh, here's a little vine in here. Let's see if I can get this one to go up too. Now I've lost my clips. Okay, here are. I don't know if I'll be able to like clip this one in with the Velcro tape though. But I can at least hold it here for now. This one, I think, it's wanting to go up anyway, so I don't think I need to Velcro theirs. Okay. Now let's get our tape. And I'm just going to weave it through the leaves as best I can. And then I can pull out what is trapped. So I'm not going to make it too incredibly tight, because I don't want to break any leaves or anything. I want to do another piece across the top, so it's not going to get all of the vines, but it'll get the taller ones. I only want to get the actual vines, and I want to get through this one that's bending over. So this will be my guide as to how far up I need to bring it. There we go. Move these leaves. And just delicately slide it through. Now we're going to take out all the orchid clips and see if it stays. I can give it a week or so and then manipulate it again once these. Actually, I'm going to leave these just for now. Normally I would not, but I think these have a lot of potential to actually climb this pole. I want to see if they will start growing, like reorient their leaves so that everybody's facing the right way. They normally do that within a week or so. And then I can probably remove the clips. And if I need to put another piece of the Velcro tape around, I will at that time. And I'm going to leave it for now. But see how these vines are growing up anyway, so I'm not gonna like pin them to the pole. I think they will find their way eventually, because they are already going in the right direction. And there's another small one in there too that's growing straight up. There was only one small one that I had to clip. And I am getting very tired. But that will work perfectly. All right, let's put lids on these bins. And that's all I'm going to do right now. I'm going to just put these in like a tray, keep them watered until I have the energy to deal with it. It's getting kind of late already. It's already 4:30. I'm going to have to figure out dinner soon, and then I still got to clean up this mess. So those will have to wait until another day. I didn't eat a good breakfast today, and then I ate a pretty decent lunch, but it was carb heavy, and well, that's just doesn't do great for my body. All right, so my idea was to have it here. Then I have these three together, but I'm not loving the way that looks. I'm thinking about the direction of light because the main part of my office is dark. We don't have any overhead lights, but we get a lot of light, from that window, and then from this window. This window is more in the winter when this tree doesn't have leaves. So for now, I'm just going to rotate it this way very, very gently. But actually, let's switch it for the silver stripe because the silver stripe doesn't have a lot of leaves on the bottom. There we go. Oh, and I think this one will be good to go this way. And then this one will go that way. And then they kind of back up to each other. There we go. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. I'm happy with that. Doesn't happen often. Who am I kidding? I'll probably move all of these in 2 weeks. I'm constantly moving the plants around. All right, so here's the bottle of water for that moss bulb. Gonna have to go around to the other side. I don't understand a lot of the 90s designs, especially not having overhead lights. Like, that is the one that just really bothers me. This will be better too because I can actually pay attention to what the leca is doing. I'm gonna water from the top just so I can clean off some of the vermiculite that's on the top here. I think it'll just look a little nicer. Now I can actually see it. I'm gonna have to move these guys because they will block me from actually seeing that. Oh, maybe not. No, okay, that'll be good. I can still see the reservoir because out of sight, out of mind, 1000% over here. I will forget that is then leca. This is my string of frogs I potted up the other day, and I was out of leca because I hadn't been to the store yet, so I used perlite on the bottom. So that was a first. We'll see how that goes. This is actually just one of the little cheapo plastic plates from like Party City. Found it at the dollar store, a big pack of them for 50 cents. They work out great for like plant saucers and little glass terrarium lids. Oh, while I'm over here, I need to water this selaginella as well. I need to repot this begonia I got yesterday too, but it's drenched, absolutely drenched, so it needs to dry out a little bit. You see the leaves are already coming out of there. But that's to be expected. That's what you get with clearance plants from Lowe's. I'm surprised that the vendors actually let the Lowe's employees water the plants. Like, I know some of them don't, but others do, and I don't know. This may have actually been a Lowe's plant. I'm not even going to pretend to know that, to act like I know their system. I just know, like, I know a girl that works there. Well, a woman. I really got to break that habit. We are not girls. We are women. Let's own it. But anyway, I know a woman that worked at Lowe's, and she said they weren't allowed to water the vendor plants, and the vendors just wouldn't come in and do it when they were supposed to. And so, like, people would always be complaining that the plants needed to be watered, and she's like, sorry, I can't. But then there's some like these that are just like absolutely drenched. Thankfully, this type of begonia is pretty resilient. But in my experience, when I try to get in there and mess with the plants that are just absolutely soaked from Lowe's, it's more mess than it's worth. So it doesn't take them long to dry out in the desert. All right. Not too many bad leaves, actually. I'm getting distracted again. All right, so that was all I needed to do today as far as those plants. Well, not what I needed to do, but that's all I'm going to get done. These other guys have to wait. So I don't know where I'm going to put these other plants. I have a few ideas, but not 100%. I know a lot of plants are going to get moved around when I break down my other aquarium in the living room. but it's going to be a while before I get to that point. I've got to get all of my shrimpies out and moved over to this 10-gallon. But many, 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 many jobs for another day.